The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
The Showdown Podcast presents the Survivor Series with Corey Miller, Vic Miller, and Brad Scott. This week's episode, Stephen King's Welcome to the Showdown Podcast. Three-time and three-time only award-winning podcast. I'm your host, Brad Scott. With me, as always, live from the Miller Zoo, is Corey Miller.
Yes, I'm here.
And with us via Skype over the phone is Vic Miller, live from Delaware.
Oh, hell no. This shit's scary. This black man's out of here.
Damn it, we lost Vic!
Well, I guess it's just me and you then.
Oh no! It's my Pennywise. My biggest fear. That if Pennywise appeared in front of me with my biggest fear, it would just be you with a microphone and a computer going, let's just record a podcast, me and you.
Come on, let's just do it.
Call it my way. Welcome to the Showdown Podcast. This is a three-time award-winning podcast, like I said, and this is a different episode.
Very much so.
We usually look back
at
old, we usually look back at old movies that came out in theaters, and this time we're looking back at an old movie that came out on television. Looking back at Stephen King's miniseries It. It was broadcast on ABC in 1990, and the reason we are doing it is what, Corey? I want to tell him because I'm so excited.
All right.
The new It movie comes out tonight. Tonight.
You're not excited, are you?
I'm so excited.
Plus something. Easy now.
Yeah, you should see the vein on the top of his forehead.
I've just been cleansing mortal children all day. I've been so excited. This was a very, very...
I have a question for Christopher Lambert.
Sorry. Go ahead, Vic.
I didn't know you were sticking questions.
So
there's a lot of things you don't know, Corey.
Do they float?
Oh, they float. They float, Vicky. And when you're down here with me, you'll be clean too. Pew, pew, pew. This miniseries premiered on ABC in 1990. Starred, when you go back and look, pretty solid cast. You had Tim Curry, obviously, in the role of Pennywise, became iconic.
Right.
You had young Seth Green playing the young Richie Tozier. You had Harry Anderson playing the older Richie Tozier. You had John Ritter playing the older Ben Hanscom. The black guy from Sister, the dad.
Reed, what's his first name?
Tim Reed, played...
Said it like 6 times, Corey. Listen to the black man. I know what the black man's name is.
I didn't hear you say it.
You didn't know what the black guy's name was from White Men Can't Jump?
I did too. Wesley Snippies? Good up.
Snippies.
So, the new It movie comes out tonight, and I honestly don't remember the last time I was this excited for a movie to come out. I really can't. I bought a ticket already because it's the day of.
Yeah.
And it's not a week before. 8 days before.
Shh, nobody knows that.
So I am excited. I had the weekend off already because as we'll talk about on the back end of the show,
you're a comic.
We have fuck off. Hold on, Corey. You make me start off. I didn't even have it ready to go. I wasn't expecting this, but
No, screw that. That was good. Thank you.
yeah, it was pretty good.
Wow.
That was pretty good. because it was good because it hurt. Schedule's been a little light this year. Lost a lot of weeks. But I had I had it off for Horrorhound anyways. I had it scheduled off.
Yes.
Scheduled to be off. So I was not booking anything this week, and I decided that's perfect because that's the weekend it opens. So I'm going to see that Thursday night, and then that's a perfect way to follow up seeing it is going to a horror convention.
Mm-hmm. Which we'll talk about that later.
Yes. Let me ask you guys this: let me gauge your excitement. I'm obviously through the roof. What's your guys' excitement level for I guess it's not even a remake. It's a because it's a completely different movie.
Yeah, I think it's. Can you say reboot? Because it's kind of that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what it would be. I mean, they're taking original content and redoing it. It's just not going to be the same story, so that would be a reboot.
Yeah. I'm actually, the more that I see the trailers, the more I'm actually getting interested in this. And my initial thought was for it, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll watch it. But I think the more that I see the trailers and see different versions, like, okay, I think I can get into this. I think I really can. So,
well, what about those newer trailers that you're seeing is peaking?
It's just the creepy. A lot of the ways that they cut the trailers and the creepiness factors there, and knowing that, hey, possibly kids will be in peril, unlike this version we're about to talk about, where it was just like it feels like this was almost obviously it was made for TV. Version, but it was
there will be blood.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of a light. This one was more lighthearted, and I think the one that comes out
is Andy Muschietti. How you say it?
Eddie Spaghetti.
No, the director of the fucking new movie.
Oh.
It's the guy that did Mama.
Oh,
I think it's Andy Muschietti. I think that's it. He said they got the R rating in the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
well, that's good.
And the first 2 minutes, as we all know, is the Georgie scene. So they actually,
which...
it is going to be seen. Vic, what about you?
So I actually like creepy clowns. So like this movie's always been one of my favorites as it is. But to see them come up with a way to actually make it more interesting to me, like my main thing about the new version of it is we still have not heard Pennywise say a word.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have,
Like,
buddy.
well,
You are really far behind on your trailers.
I haven't watched the new trailers on purpose. I don't want to see anything else. The first trailer, he was completely silent, and he doesn't say anything. And that was the part that drew me into wanting to see this new version right off the top. I haven't watched the new trailers at all on purpose.
Well,
I don't want to see anything else to do with the movie.
I can tell you, you won't be let down.
So
I have seen Annabelle 3 times. I take that back. I have paid to see Annabelle 3 times. I've watched it twice. I literally went the first time because they are playing a short 2.5, 3 minute clip from the movie where Georgie meets Pennywise in the sewer.
right.
And it's an edited version of that clip, and obviously they don't give away anything, and it ends right when you would think it would. But I literally paid the money the first time just to go watch that, and it was like me and 5 other people in the theater because it was like during the afternoon. And after that part, like after that trailer, the little it's called First Look played,
You just got up and
I got up and walked out. And people were kind of like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
It's like, damn, Annabelle just made that money for the trailer?
Yep. And then I went and watched the actual Annabelle movie with a good friend of the show, Matt Holt, when we were on the road. And so I saw it again. And then I went and saw it with my daughter the last weekend. So that was the third time, and we saw the clip again.
The first time you should have at least gone into another theater and just watched another movie.
I don't do that, Corey, because I
money,
respect the film industry, and I want them to make money.
But you did.
I don't want to take advantage.
But you spent money. So.
But I spent money for Annabelle Creation, Corey, and I am a man who I abide by the ticket.
All right, suit yourself.
I'm very excited. I think What I think the best comparison, and this is, I initially thought this, and then I've seen, I mean, I think it's a common thought because I've seen it posted a million places. This has a feel to me of The Dark Knight. And it's weird because it's a clown. Because it feels like there's a ton of people who were really against Heath Ledger. And I think some of that had to do with they didn't want to let go of Jack Nicholson being the Joker.
Right.
And so they thought no one was going to be able to top Jack Nicholson because his Joker was so iconic and you know, that movie was so big.
How can anyone top Tim Curry?
And then, yeah, I feel like people are doing the same thing with this. I've seen a lot of people posting that Tim Curry is the true Pennywise and everything else. And I feel like this is the same deal. This is going to be played in it's in a darker version that Skarsgård is playing.
Skarsgård.
And Vic, hit him.
I can't believe he actually went that far. He committed to that one, though. I got to give him that.
But he just derailed the show just to get in a Skarsgård.
I can't help it. I hear that name, I have to do it.
But he's playing this role very different. If you haven't seen the clip, you can actually find that clip online, but it's through somebody's phone and they didn't hold it right. So you have to like kind of tilt your phone a little bit to get it full screen, but then you got to turn your head as well to watch it normal because it's fucking like upside down or sideways. But he's playing it way different. This is a more menacing Pennywise. And Tim Curry came across like a guy in a clown suit. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't come across like a supernatural being. He came across like a creepy guy who's dressed up like a clown.
Yeah.
Whereas this Pennywise seems to come across as a demon, as a entity. And I think that's going to add a lot more. Plus, like we said, they're going to be way more faithful to the book. They have a lot more leeway because they have the ability to do, you know, R-rated things.
The book went so much more in depth, from what I understand.
Well, no, the book was so fucked up. There's scenes they couldn't use in an R-rated movie. They were like, "We're gonna skip the kid orgy."
What?
I don't.
You didn't know that?
Even no.
In the book, after they defeat Pennywise, Bev fucks all of them as a way for them to have a bond, like to strengthen their bond.
What?
Is
Yeah.
this a real thing?
I am not. Go look at. You can Google it. There was a big thing when they first started releasing trailers. People were like, "Are they gonna do that scene?" And they were like, "No," for obvious reasons.
Yeah, they're still kids.
You'll have to go to Pornhub to see that.
Unless
scene.
you want look-alike midgets acting out the final scene of the movie.
Well, but they were adults when they defeated him, though.
No.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. When they thought they defeated it.
Oh, okay, the first time.
Yeah,
okay.
that was like their transition into adulthood.
Oh, okay.
Was defeating evil clown and then gangbanging the only girl that they all were hanging out with.
Well, that's weird.
That's Stephen King, though. Stephen King, I mean, dude, he's got a twisted mind. He came up with a clown that eats children.
That's like kid porn, isn't it? Like even writing about that? It's just weird.
No, I agree. But I'm glad that's not it. But they're being more faithful to the book in other areas, such as the black hole, which is a big part of or black whatever it's called, Black and Angry.
Black Hoe?
Pennywise turns into Vic during a scene. I've had this argument with a friend of mine. If you're a WrestleMania fan, you know him very well. The Sparrow. The bane of most people's existence. The thorn in everybody's side. He just likes to agitate. He knows I'm really excited to see the movie. This is why he hates it and why he's talking shit. But he says it's the same movie. He's like, oh yeah, because this is what I always do. He'll always go, oh, you know they're gonna remake Titanic. You can go see that? You can go see Titanic? Let me give you a hint. The boat sinks. Like, so he's saying because of the fact that they've already had, because I've already seen that movie, and I'm like, well, no, this is a different movie. No, I already seen it. Look, let me guess. Is there a clown? Is there a Georgie? Is there a scene with Georgie? Do they beat the clown? Does he turn into a spider? I'm like, yeah, but just because it's the same basic plot and your beginning and end might be the same, when everything in between is different, it's a different movie. Like they literally were making up scenes for the miniseries because they were like, well, shit, nothing in the book's going to work.
Yeah. We can't do any of this shit we have in this book as a guideline.
Mickey Mouse has denied us access to anything from the book, so now we got to write a movie. Whereas this movie has, just you can already see the scene with Mike, the black member of the Losers Club, affirmative action.
The token.
Yeah, the token. He sees people being burned alive in a nightclub. You've seen that in the trailer where he's standing outside the door and you can see the hands reaching out. That wasn't in the miniseries. The scene where Pennywise confronts them in the house. The entire house, honestly, wasn't really in the miniseries, with the exception of one quick scene with Stan. But that house was a big part of the book, and it is going to be featured more in the movie. The Henry Bowers character, in the miniseries, he comes across like a slightly edgy Fonz.
Which one was that?
Henry Bowers, the main bully.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas this one, he's going to be a psychopath like he is in the book.
Okay.
But and we need to say that this one's going to have a huge advantage because of the fact that they don't have restrictions. And as you mentioned earlier, there was literally a rule for the miniseries they could not show a child in immediate danger.
Right. That's why we thought. Hold on. Never mind.
Well, that's like the closest you got was him lifting up Eddie.
Right.
I believe, or Stan, one of the two in the sewer. When he picks him up, that's the closest we got to seeing a kid really in danger. And in this one, there is we've already done our spoiler shit. There is the scene, and this was shown at the South. What's it called?
South by Southwest.
Yeah.
South by Southwest.
Yeah, this was a clip shown there where one of the kids is being beaten up by bullies, and he kind of looks over, and he can kind of see in this tall grass, he can see Pennywise nibbling on a child's arm.
No.
Wave at him. Hey,
and you see some of the newer trailers, you can see there's blood around his mouth.
Yeah.
So they're going full, and that was their intention, I believe, is they wanted to make a super dark horror movie. And the early reviews have come in from just normal people. These aren't critics, mind you, but the normal people that have seen it have had. I think it's been universally positive for the most part. I saw one douchebag on one of the groups of Facebook I'm in who posted his review. He posted in 3 different groups because I'm in the same group because I was trying to find every bit of video and footage I could, so I was in all these different groups, and he posted the same things my review, and I'm like, oh, it's fucking Letterboxd D. You're not even you work at a goddamn Starbucks. And he's all just very, very, it's just very condescending.
He has plenty of time to write him while he's at Starbucks.
Yeah. And he's just very, very condescending, very, elitist. Some of the characters are go fuck yourself. And then they comment, because I even commented, I was like, what's your background in film? And he's like, well, I've just really, I've studied it since I was a kid, and I prefer foreign films because they're better.
Oh God, I hate those guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I like foreign films, but I would never say something like that.
I like foreign films because they're better. Why are they better? Because they're foreign.
Well, that's I said that. I go, why are they better? And he said something along the lines of just, I don't remember. He gave me some pretentious douchebag answer. And he's like, I'm sorry if that offends you. No, it doesn't. It just annoyed me.
So if you like foreign films so much, then why are you reviewing a movie like this? It's obviously not a foreign film. It's obviously not for you. Shut up.
I think it's going to break all types of records. I think it's going to be the biggest horror opening of all time.
I also think it's going to cause a resurgence of those stupid fucking clowns all over the place.
Actually, the clowns are pissed. They're saying it's harder to get work right now because of this movie.
Alamo Drafthouse in Texas, they're doing a all clown.
I saw that.
showing.
Yeah.
So, but nobody's protesting that one. You know how everybody was getting mad about the all female showing of Wonder
Clown
Woman?
lives matter.
CLM.
I was okay. So another thing about the remake or whatever you want to call it, the new one, the It 2017. So I have gotten in the last couple of years, I have started kind of collecting WWE action figures because a lot of those go up in value a lot. It's one of those things that has a fan base that it sticks with it, and so they, a lot of those things become collector's items. And I got like a LeBron James starting lineup thing that I think could go up at some point. And I'm just trying to get all this shit I can. Did you just burp into the goddamn microphone?
No, I groaned.
Oh. And I have like a Tiger Woods thing and everything else. Well, they released those the Funko Pop figures for this movie. Have you followed any of this?
I haven't gotten any of the pops for it, but I'm definitely going to get a Pennywise pop.
Well, you might want to act fast. I can actually sell you one because I have like 4.
How much are they? Are they boosting them already?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So the regular, right now, the only one that's really available, I believe, is the one where he's holding the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And the regular one, I think, is going for like anywhere from maybe $15 to $20.
Right.
But there's also one called the Chase Edition. And it's just the same thing, but with different color schemes. It's like more of a sepia tone. It's like more of like, looks like what the movie is. And those, so I actually got one of those. They're apparently, they send them out with the regular ones, but they're 1 in 6 that you get them.
Correct.
So I actually ordered one for $39 about 2 weeks ago. About a week after I got mine in the mail and ordered it, they are now going for the cheapest I've seen is $170.
Yeah, the Stephen King Pennywise Clown pop vinyl figure Chase is $164.61 on Amazon.
Yeah, I have that one.
You said you have one?
I have one. Yeah, I got it for $39.
Oh wow.
Because it was when it first all came out, and like they weren't, and I was so mad because I was like, maybe I should buy like 2 or 3 of these because I keep seeing people post about these. These might be like the one, but now there's going to be a Hot Topic exclusive one, and there's going to be a Walmart.
So what'll happen is they'll just flood because the one that you have, as long as you keep it and don't do anything with it, it'll stay up in value. But what they're going to do is they'll flood it with a second run of them, and the second run will be a slightly different color. It'll just be like how his hair is like blood red. It'll be a slightly lighter red, so most people won't tell the difference. But you'll have the original, so it'll stay up in value, but it's gonna be weird.
Vic, he will sell you one of his for $150.
I ain't gonna sell the Chase one. That's gonna hopefully be part of Harper's College.
I'm looking at another one. It's $4.99.
Oh, that's the one that comes with the regular one, right?
Yeah, it comes with a 2-pack.
Yeah, and I have both. And that's from Funko.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yep.
Like that's sold through Funko on it. That's them setting the price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Absolutely.
And
after the movie goes, it's going to drop though. So just keep your eye on it.
But then I feel like then later on it'll go back up, right?
After a while, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Just don't do anything with it because everyone will be like, "Oh yeah, it's going to come down in price," and it will drop in price. And that's where people make the mistake of selling those pops is when it drops in price. They're like, "Oh, it's not actually worth anything anymore." Then right after it drops in price, it'll start to climb again because they won't be in production anymore. As soon as they go out of production, they'll start to climb again. So
I think I'm actually
don't get rid of it.
I think I'm gonna order the Hot Topic and Walmart ones already. They're like $49, and I know I could probably wait and get them, but I just don't want to take a chance on them being like, fuck it, we're only gonna make 7 of these. And so I'd like while I have the chance to order them after this weekend and I get paid, I am going to order both.
I guarantee you there will be a bunch of them at Horrorhound. Guarantee it.
Possibly.
They'll probably be a ridiculous amount of money, but more than likely there will be a ton of them there.
I am so goddamn excited for this movie. I mean, it looks so damn good. And I love how when you say it looks so damn good, you're not You're not being vague. You're
Yeah,
saying
you're not being facetious. No, it actually will look good.
And now, the Showdown Podcast history. Saw this movie when I was 8 years old on TV when it was broadcast. Scared the hell out of me. And it was like my first horror movie. Corey?
I did not see it when it first aired. I probably didn't see it all the way through until we did it the first time on our show. Like,
What movie did it go up against?
It went up against Halloween.
And I was like, was that a Halloween themed episode or was that just a regular episode?
Vic, what about your history?
Who won that battle, by the way?
Halloween themed episode, by the way. Just to answer your question.
Yeah, and who won that? Who won that battle?
I think you did. I think you won that battle. Actually, I know you won that battle. So my history with this movie is I did see it. I was 17 years old when it came out, and I was excited because I couldn't read the book because it was too damn long, and I enjoyed this movie immensely. Or a TV show, I should say.
This has been the Showdown Podcast history. Vic made me work on that one.
I'm excited about this. I think I can nail this bankroll or bust thing this time.
Oh, you're already wrong, Corey. Made-for-TV movies don't have a budget or box office. I mean, they have a budget, but they don't have a box office.
And they don't project the budget if they don't have something to run it against, which is the box office. So they already knew they were making millions from the advertising, so they didn't have to worry about the box office.
So I'm going to say a few million.
So if you missed that the first time, Corey, since apparently you did because you just chimed in with a guess anyways. You know what?
What? Fair enough.
All right, Vic, tell us about it.
So, this movie came out in 1990. It was about a town in Maine called Derry, Maine, back in 1960. It's about a town that is plagued by missing children. They don't know why or what happens to them, but for some reason they just tend to disappear. And the movie starts out with a little boy by the name of Georgie, cute little kid in his little rain slicker, hanging out outside, playing in the gutter water. That pretty much is one of the grossest things ever. But his big brother gave him a paper boat, and he wanted to play with it, so he was sailing it down the gutter when it went in. And at that point, we are introduced, as Georgie is, to Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Because Georgie, being a kid that's been taught the right way, you can't trust strangers, so Pennywise introduces himself to Georgie, and Georgie drops his guard and basically drops his reaches into the gutter where the strange clown is hanging out to try to get his paper boat back, and that's the end of Georgie.
Well, that's the flashback, though. It did start out in current time, where a girl was riding her bike, and then she was getting ready to go in the house, and Pennywise was calling out to her
in the laundry,
and then takes her, and then when the cops show up and everything, Tim Reed's character is there, Mike. He realizes what's going on, and then we flash back to the Georgie scene.
Well, after he calls Bill.
Yeah, after he calls Bill, which
is Georgie's
brother. Yes, which I did not like that dude as an actor. That ponytail was driving me insane.
And that mole?
Yeah,
that mole. Anything he does, you're like, you made a lot of money. Couldn't you get that taken off, maybe?
Yeah, I just kept waiting for that mole, like in Robin Hood Men in Tights. I kept waiting.
Austin Powers.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But I was thinking Robin Hood Men in Tights, where they kept moving around his face, on Richard Lewis's face. I just kept waiting for that to happen in this one. Yeah, that dude drove me insane through this entire movie, and I really wished he was not like the quote unquote main character of the movie, just because I just felt he took away. He just
later on, I think I've done it on the show before, but we'll do it again. I do an impression of him. of the adult bill.
Oh, do you?
We'll do it later on when we get to the scene.
Okay.
Yeah, that scene where Pennywise, you just kind of see him through the sheets, and then he goes from the smiling to the sinister look was, man. I mean, you talk about like if you're just sitting at home and you don't know anything about the movie or anything, and you just decide to watch it, and you see that would hook me. Like as if I watched it as an adult on TV, that would hook me.
Right.
And yeah, the little girl's dead.
Yeah, she gone.
And this is the part that I wanted to say too, is they only do cutaways of the death, because we were talking about earlier where they can't have the kids actually get harmed. Whenever a kid dies, it's this cutaway scene,
well,
and you never really see it, which is actually, I mean, it's a cool way to do it without having to actually show kids dying, but that's, yeah.
I think the only time they did it is when the one bully kid got dragged into the pipe. I think that was the only time you actually saw them, quote-unquote, die.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, with the exception of Bev in the sink, there's no blood in the movie.
No, you're right. And like Vic was saying, I noticed in rewatching it last week that it did keep cutting away every time somebody was about to get killed. That was one of the things that was.
It's like with Wolverine in the X-Men movies, when he's about to use his claws, they just show some blood splatter onto a wall.
Right.
Or show him like move his claws onto somebody, but they just fall down unconscious. So then we get to the iconic scene. Probably one of the most iconic horror scenes, I'd say, in history. I mean, even with people coming back for seeing this remake, if they weren't like big fans of the original, they know that scene.
You mean Georgie being taken?
Georgie meeting Pennywise, and they kind of blew through it, but I mean, it's what added to the creepiness of Tim Curry's clown. Mm-hmm. It was weird seeing a clown in a sewer like that.
Hey, I'm just down here hanging out.
Yeah, and it was it gets like, now you watch it, it's super cheesy when like the hand splits open and it's like the big reptile hand that breaks out from his that snatches up Georgie,
right?
And then we flip to that, and I mean this is a very intricate, long plot.
Yeah.
To just go through. So I think we should kind of just hit up the highlights.
Yeah, hit the highlights.
Hit the highlights. Once we get through the Georgie scene, we also flash back this was a telling scene, because the very next scene is he's looking in Georgie's room at a photo album. The pages start turning on their own, and then it gets to a picture of Georgie, and Georgie winks.
Yeah.
And then blood. So the second time we had blood, or first time we had blood,
the first time.
comes out oozing onto the photo.
And the parents don't notice.
But which is, again, it sets up that the adults in this town, whether it's them under the control of Pennywise, or Pennywise went there because they're just awful people, but they ignore the evil things that people do in the town, which a lot of other people, think that it's they're not doing anything.
Yeah, they're just like, well, that's one thing I don't understand about this, is that they really didn't do anything. It's like it's almost as if they didn't care.
Well, no, it's whether
they just accepted it.
But that's the question of the book. Yeah, are they under the control of Pennywise, or is Pennywise there because they're just that awful of people?
Yeah.
Like, did Pennywise choose to be under Derry, Maine because of how horrible the people there were already? Like, there was something about the town that made people like, that's how I feel about Franklin.
So that's not exactly. If you really want a little bit of background, because I did do a little research into the whole story of Pennywise.
Okay.
It's actually, he's been on Earth for like millennia. Like he like ended up on Earth, so the town of Derry kind of built up on top of him. So it wasn't like he chose them per se. They just kind of ended up there, and he was like, a smorgasbord.
Way to Pennywise my theory there, Vic.
Just telling you, I'm the facts man, so I'm giving you some facts. So,
well, and that's another highlight scene. Which if you're used to us going through the entire plot, we're going highlights with this movie because this is a very, very long plot to go through scene by scene.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering how we were going to do this because it's so many.
Well, Vic, you know, because you heard me 2 minutes ago say that we're just going to do the highlights. You're aware. It's not like you had a work thing that you had to step away from the show for a minute. So yeah, we see another version when Mike has the photo book, which Mike is the black kid that they meet. They do an introduction of the illusion, which I thought was weird. Like 5 different kids show up to this school midway through the year.
Right.
Did you notice that?
Midway through the year.
Yeah, Mike shows up and it's like they've already been in school and they're introducing him as the new kid. Ben showed up and they introduced him as the new kid. Like school had already been going on.
Mike showed up at the end of the summer before school started.
No, he showed up during the school year. Oh, okay. Well then, whatever.
Yeah,
but
it's because of the way the flashbacks happen. It's hard to tell what's actually going on. So what happened is Mike shows up, and like it's at the very end of the summer is when Georgie ends up disappearing altogether, and that's when like they were chasing.
Oh,
they were chasing
so
him down.
Georgie disappeared when the black kid showed up, huh?
Ironically enough. But no, it was like the end of the summer, and that's when they all kind of met. But then school started, and they all just kind of went their separate ways. So it's just a weird thing because you don't really find that out till later on when they do another flashback. So it's hard to keep track of all of them.
Well, and they all come together over a hatred of Henry Bowers, who is the bully in the movie. And again, like I said earlier, he's basically in this version like an edgier Fonzie.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very, very, very corny. And although he drops an N-bomb.
Yeah.
Which you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, you can't show a kid bleeding, but we can just throw around racial slurs, huh?
Yeah.
Disney's racist.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
And he's getting bullied by Henry Bowers, and the losers all join together. He calls them the Losers Club. It's where they get their name. It's a very DX moment. And they get into a rock fight where they're just pelting the bullies with rocks. Shortly after that, Mike opens up a book, and then he notices that...
I thought you were going to say what opens up a can of whoop ass.
How great would it have been if, like, during that... right, somebody needs to do this. We need to find somebody that's good at this kind of stuff. During the scene of the rock fight, when Henry Bowers throws the rock that hits Bev, and Ben takes off after him.
Which I actually laughed when it hit her. Is that bad?
You would.
I figured you laughed when the rock hit Mike. But when the rock hits Bev and then Ben takes off for him, somebody needs to change that to where after the rock hits Bev and you see Ben's face, the glass shatters and Stone Cold's music's playing as he charges after Henry Bowers. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That would be great. Okay, so moving on. They after the rock fight, they're all sitting around, and Mike's showing him a photo book that his dad had given him, and they notice that there's all these natural disasters in Derry, but there's always one constant, and that is a clown, which they think a man. They think it's a man, dressed as a clown.
And one of the things too that makes you think that the adults know, but there's nothing they can do about it, is the teacher's response. Is because she kind of like tries to change the subject.
Because as kids, they were all probably tortured by Pennywise as kids, so they all know about it.
Yeah.
But as they grow up, they're like, let's just fucking forget that this ever happened, so we don't have to talk about it. And then he just moves on to the next generation of kids. So like it's like the whole fucking Nightmare on Elm Street thing. It's like, yeah, let's just ignore it and maybe it'll go away. It just never seems to go away.
Wow, that's true. It's very similar.
Yeah.
As far as the people, because I mean, and it's one of those things where you think it's a simple thing, like you do the right thing, But when you have to imagine if you were a child that had to actually deal with an evil entity that was able to change forms into whatever that scared you the most, and you survived, yeah, fuck it, I'm just not gonna say shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Move the fuck out of Derry. Like, who stays in Derry? Like, I would not stay there. Like, that would be a ghost town.
And one of the things too that I think that they don't want to think about it is because, like the adult that end up fighting them, the loser group, when you do remember it, when you do think about it, everything comes back, and then he can see you, and you can see him, and then that's why I think probably the adults, like the teacher, don't want to think about it, because like if I think about it, then
well, but also, I mean, it wasn't every kid that got terrorized.
No.
I mean, he only terrorized 7
that we know of.
Well, I guess 9.
But it happened every 30 years.
27 years.
27 years.
Ironically enough, the new It is coming out in 2017. When did the original miniseries debut?
I thought they said it was 30
years.
Huh?
I thought they said it was 30.
No,
years.
it's 27 when they.
Aha.
No, it's 27. I'm telling you, I don't know where it came from, but I know it's 27 because there's been all types of shit about it.
We'll
I
have to
think
get
they're
our
mistaken.
Interesting facts about it. It in the book. It comes out. It comes a feast. You know.
They said every 30 years in the movie. Because I actually.
Well, but that's okay. So maybe it's in the book.
Because that's why I was thinking. Well, I wonder if this has been 30 years since the movie.
Okay, so I typed in "It Comes Back," Eve, because I didn't get all the way through and what pops up. The first thing, it comes back every 30 years. It comes back every 27 years. So
I'm 99% positive they said 30 in the movie.
It was 30 in the movie.
It's 27 in the book.
Well,
Yep.
There you go.
But the book wasn't written in 1990 either, so.
No, but the original miniseries was
Yeah,
debuted.
I understand that.
When we first saw Pennywise, Tim Curry. So now 27 years later, Pennywise comes back as Bill Skarsgård. Don't do it! I knew it.
You just made me fuck up.
By the way, that was a great scene when they're flipping through
They have just crashed an entire computer system in Texas.
Ugh. Well, Vic, their computers don't work anyways right now. They're all wet.
Oh, too soon.
Our thoughts are with Houston because that's who they want thinking about them. Is the movie podcast from Indianapolis / Delaware. The scene where Pennywise, where the photo book opens up, a photo book does it again, and Bill says that's what happened in Georgie's room, and it flips over when he does the little flips and then points and growls.
Yeah,
that's a great scene. And then
I actually laughed.
Really?
I was laughing as he was doing his flip.
I thought it was really, but I thought the growl was really creepy. The losers all end up seeing a variation of the clown. Richie sees a werewolf. Stan sees a mummy. Eddie actually, I think, has the scariest experience.
When he comes to the floor?
Yeah, he's in the shower. And Pennywise comes in. I think that's one of the best scenes in the movie.
And a laughable scene, too, with the claymation.
The claymation bad. But when he does the thing at the end where he looks up with the teeth and the eyes and everything.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny though. If you think about it, Seth Green's character is haunted by a werewolf, as you said, right. and then on the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Seth Green was on it and was a werewolf. So there's a little fun fact for you. Moving on.
That is a completely untethered fact, though.
And, it's not a. First of all, it's not.
The werewolf was because of the movie they were watching.
It's still funny.
And it wasn't like the producer was like, "Well, Seth, we really want you to play Richie because we have a feeling your future is you'll need the experience dealing with werewolves."
Well, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they said, "Hey, that's kind of funny. Let's make you a werewolf."
No, he's got experience with werewolves. This would be the.
Yeah, exactly.
So they all have a different experience. And we apologize. We went way too long talking about the new movie. So and you guys have seen this movie before. If you haven't and you're looking to us to break it to give you the exact plot, you've come to the wrong show. They all have a different experience with the entity in some various form, and they decide to go. Yep, they go down to the sewers to kill it. They figured out somehow that silver will work for some reason.
That was just really...
Oh, because it was a werewolf once, so obviously silver, not even a bullet. Just needed to be a cheap area. You know what I would have loved? Because Bev was poor and her whole family was poor, is if they hit Pennywise with it and it did nothing, And they're like,
'Cause it wasn't real.
well, they were like, oh no, we thought silver killed you, and he was like, it does, but not fucking bootleg got off the beaches of Nassau in the Bahamas silver. It just turned my forehead green. But no, it doesn't. It actually cracks open his head, and apparently inside that clown, it's just a bunch of lights, dead lights, if you will.
Yep.
They also steal one of the bullies and suck him through a tube, like we mentioned earlier. Belch.
Don't forget that they figure out that their imagination actually dictates what Pennywise is affected by. So when he decides that his inhaler is battery,
oh, that's right, yeah.
he squirts him, and that's what starts.
That's why the silver works.
Yeah,
so she can hit him.
And he does this very, very bad claymation spin move into the drain. He disappears forever. And then they have an orgy. No,
they make a pact. They don't have an orgy. They just make a pact. Let's keep it PG here.
That's what we call making a pact back where I'm from, Vic.
Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Maybe it's good I'm not in Indiana anymore.
It's a new thing. Just started it since you left. We were like, all right, Vic's gone. Now we can all start fucking again.
Oh, Jesus. The black man's out of the room. We don't have to hide our girlfriends anymore. So yeah, they make the pact that if he ever comes back and kills another kid, that they would all come back and fight him and save the city, save their town from him. And Mike, for whatever stupid reason, decides to stay in that town. Like,
because he thinks it's dead.
He just decides.
He thinks it's dead, and he's like, "I'm gonna be the watchdog."
Yeah, I think he was more like the watch guy, and
I'm gonna pay attention. Like, I already have an interest in children.
And he's already kind of at a younger age. He's already been interested in what's going on in the town. So I think that's another reason why he stayed.
Yeah, and
it's funny because this movie kind of made those creepy pictures, like people moving around inside of pictures and shit. That shit was creepy. They do it on Harry Potter, and the shit's all cute. I think they just robbed that from this movie.
Yeah, that's true. Harry Potter stole the moving pictures from it.
When you're here in Hogwarts with us, you'll float too. That's my Harry Potter.
Harry, you'll float down here.
So they, coincidentally enough, it comes back. Before it comes back, Stan kills himself. He cuts his wrist. Then the other 6 losers come. The other 6, yeah, well, because of the psychological damage, which I'm interested to see how the new movie's going to handle that. I wonder if we'll see it in the first part or if it'll be something for the second part. But that'll be interesting because we're probably not going to just get the bathtub. Oh, another blood scene.
Oh, yeah,
small amount, but on the wall.
The balloon. You forgot the balloons.
Yeah, the balloons.
Oh, that's
too.
right. Well, yeah,
He was fucking with him at the asylum.
No, the library.
Yeah, the library.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the best scenes in the entire movie.
What was the scene from the asylum? He went and got what's his name?
Oh, Bowers. Yeah, that's later on.
Yeah.
The scene in the library where Richie sees Pennywise is great. Although you can tell that every single one of those extras was prepared for blood to splatter from a balloon because they all closed their eyes right before the balloon that they're not supposed to see.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was that or if they actually took a frame of the film out.
No, they flinched.
Yeah, dude, they flinched. Yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah. They literally because I paused it the first time I watched it because I was like, did they just do that? They literally flinched down and then the balloon hit.
Well, that's one of those things where you could tell they were like, "Hey, okay, he flinched," and then they're like, "Oh, well, put glasses on him," and then they did it with glasses. Like, fuck it, just leave it. It's going on ABC. Who gives a shit? We can't even show kids in danger.
And then he's like, "Yeah, Prince Albert in the can."
Well, you better let the poor guy out. And I also love the part where he's like, I got a balloon for ya. What's wrong? One balloon not enough? Try a bunch of balloons. And then there's all the balloons.
It's all fall from the ceiling.
And the scene where John Ritter sees Pennywise, I actually think the scenes where they see him as adults is some of the creepiest parts of the movie. Where Bill sees him digging the grave.
Oh, yeah.
Was pretty creepy when John Ritter sees him. I didn't think the part where he saw the weird skeleton thing at the
coming out of the water after.
Yeah, I didn't think that was that creepy or scary, but I thought the part where he's just, for some reason, the part where he's just driving down the road in the cab in the middle of broad daylight and Pennywise is standing on the side of the road waving is creepy as shit.
And that's why we have the problem we have now with those fucking clowns on the side of the road. Thanks a lot.
I think that's kind of funny, actually.
And they find out that he's back. So they all go out to dinner, and they somehow have all... Like, that's not the first thing they talk about.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been the... Like, as soon as I would have gone to that Chinese restaurant, which, by the way, somebody also needs to do a mashup of that scene from It and the Seinfeld Chinese restaurant episode.
I don't know what that is.
You don't watch Seinfeld?
No.
Oh, there's a whole episode where they're just waiting to get a table at a Chinese restaurant. And chaos and comedic events ensue.
You get. I see what you're wanting to. Explain.
Yeah, like Pennywise fall. Okay, you guys don't watch Seinfeld.
I think we could substitute the Defenders Chinese restaurant scene in with that. It's the right amount of people and the right color scheme.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
a chick, a black guy, and a bunch of white dudes.
Oh, my turn. I don't get that.
You don't watch Defenders?
No, I don't. Does it have a killer clown in it? It's the only thing I watch now. It's got to have a killer clown.
It does have a dude that, kind of, Kilgrave could be considered a clown.
Yeah, but he's not in Defenders, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you tell me he's in the last 4 episodes, I'm going to be mad. Let's keep to this, though.
This is not the Miller Times! So, Pennywise ends up haunting him. They end up, just like Mike tells him, well, it's back. And they're all like, yeah, but we're just came here for dinner. And then we're all going to go back to our other lives that are way better than being, hunted.
Harry Anderson wants to go back to Night Court. He's missing his job as a judge.
You know what? Because we're running low on time. He was a stand-up comic in the movie. Awful material, but it was ABC in the 90s. They decide to go fight it again as adults. Mike gets stabbed at the hotel they're all staying at.
By the one dude.
Yeah. By Henry Bowers, who has escaped from...
Pennywise has to go get some help.
Yes, and he also kidnaps Bill's wife. With the
which I don't understand why she had to go back. Why she just
because she knew something was going on with her husband and he wouldn't tell her why.
Yeah, maybe you should probably stay away.
She wouldn't listen.
She probably thought he was cheating.
Knowing all that shit happened at that fucking town, I wouldn't have gone back there either.
Hell no.
Don't you want it?
Yeah, the inside track.
Don't you want it?
Anyway, moving on.
Don't you want it? Shut up. You remember that from the?
Yeah, I remember from the last time we talked about it.
Don't you wanna?
And then I had to sit there and listen to it as I watched the movie again.
By the way, so we're when they go back to the library after the dinner and everything else, they find Stan's head in the fridge.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, I guess he's not coming." Damn it!
Hold on, you forgot about the surprises in the fortune cookie. I could not eat fortune cookies for a while after that.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was creepy with the bug that came out, the eyeball, the whatever the hell that thing.
Duck.
Well, yeah, but whatever the hell the thing was with
like
the
crab.
claw.
Yeah, it was like a crab.
Oh yeah.
It looked like the Beast from King's Island, like the logo for the Beast.
Yeah.
And they go back to the library. They see Stan's head. All this crazy shit starts happening, and a typewriter starts typing things up. And Bill is trying to read it because it's specifically written for him. He throws his hand on read that to help with my
all right, Bill, look, let me read it for you.
It says, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Well, no, it's the whatever, and he says he used to help it with a stutter, and one of the best comedic lines of the movie is Harry Anderson leaning in and going, "No offense, pal, but it ain't helping."
Yeah.
That was a really good line. So then, after Mike gets stabbed at the hotel and Bowers goes to jail, they realize they have to go fight the clown. So
Bowers got killed.
Oh, yeah, Bowers got killed. They have to go fight the clown, so they go back into the sewers. While they're in the sewers, Eddie dies. And
After admitting that he's a virgin,
which
would mean that that the orgy scene really never happened.
Oh well, for the ABC version, of course not.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't all come out and say they were virgins. Me too, Eddie. Abstinence is the best. And then even Pennywise is like, yeah,
high five.
The only safe sex is no sex, gang. I want to see it. I want to see like an Adult Swim, Pennywise and Friends like cartoon.
Like the Mike Tyson mysteries?
Yeah, but it's like Pennywise going around helping kids with problems. He keeps them to say no to cigarettes and everything else. If you want to float like me, you won't smoke those cancer sticks.
At the end of each one, he's sitting at a table eating something that you can't really tell what it is.
But it's a child. And then at the end of every episode, all the kids fuck. So now this is actually what we're about to say right now. Interestingly enough, is the first time that this part of the movie has been mentioned on the Showdown podcast. Which
actually,
is...
It's not.
You know what I mean, Vic.
Yeah,
God damn it, Vic.
Quite often.
God damn it, Vic. Hang on. The joke was more important than the literal facts. Now, what we're about to talk about right here is the first time, surprisingly, this ever mentioned. Corey, what happened next?
I
don't remember again, do you?
No. My memory always seems to go when it comes to this part of the movie.
It turns into a horrible-looking fake spider. And the way they kill it is because apparently when it's a clown, fucking knows, Taekwondo. But when it turns into a giant man-eating spider, you can just run up on it and pull its heart out.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you have to hit it first. You have to kick it.
Yeah, you have to kick it with all the force of Harry Anderson from Night Court.
Bum rush it.
And rip its heart out.
And Jack Tripper.
And that's what they do. And when they do that, apparently that's how you kill it. And Bill's wife comes peacefully down.
I love how the bodies were lowered down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And Eddie's still dead.
Yeah.
And they I do love right before they go after the spider. I do love what Harry Anderson says. If this thing comes back when I'm 70, so help me God.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna leave. And they all leave the sewer and they go back to their lives. We see that Ben and Bev get married. Mike ends up staying in Derry. And what happened to Richie ends up... He beat a waitress or something?
I don't remember what happened with him. But the one dude and the chick that was taken by Pennywise, when they leave, they're getting ready to leave and get in the cab, and he sees his bike. So he's like, he gets this big idea to throw her on the front of the bike, and let's just go down the street. Let's ride around with her on there.
Well, yeah, which is always what you want to do with someone who's comatose.
Yeah.
But
it snapped her back, surprisingly. Not real sure how that happened.
Beat it.
Yeah, and then she snaps out of it. And she's like, "Wait, what's going on here?"
The bike had a significant importance because he tells her that it's going to work because that's what saves Stan's life.
Right.
How great would it have been though
that they got hit by a car?
Well, no. How great would it have been if when he would have been going, beat it. If all of a sudden you just would have heard.
I knew that was coming. Do you realize how many auto accidents they about caused in that intersection.
By the way, when Michael Jackson died, he looked way more like Pennywise than he did Mike.
Are you talking about Tim Reed Mike from the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
No, or Mike as we knew him.
When he was like 10 and actually
Jackson, Jordan, Tyson, Game 6. All right, and that's the end of the movie.
Yep.
So we'll be right back after these very quick commercial break with our results, and we'll tell you a little bit about Horrorhound. So you're listening to the Showdown Podcast.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hiya, Corey. It's commercial time. Go ahead, Corey. Tell the people where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd.
When you're on the Showdown, Corey, you'll never go first. Vic, go ahead.
You can find me at MillerKing51 on social media, as well as Black and Angry. That's BLAQN and Angry on all gaming platforms. You can also find me on the weekends hanging out with my buddy Corey, where he also doesn't get to go first, and we talk about and break down our favorite TV shows, mostly based on comic books, and to see if they hold up for this week's episode. So join us on the Miller Time Podcast.
Corey, I'm a clown. I'm always joking around. I don't know why my clown first started to sound like Vince McMahon and now sounds like...
I don't know what that sounds
This is just a voice. Go ahead, Corey.
Okay, you can find me on...
You can float.
All right.
Find me at Brad Scott Comedy. And listen to WrestleMania. And listen to My Way Pod. I'm a dick. I took Corey's other podcast plug. Go ahead.
You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at NKOGonzo.
All right. And now, let's just get to it. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back. You would think it's our spooktacular series, but it's not October. But it is Pennywise season. In honor of the new movie It's coming out tonight, we are bringing you our review of the classic miniseries It, and now it is time to see if it holds up. All right. I'm going to let Corey go. Well, I'm going to go first because it's been obvious. I love this movie. It's my favorite horror movie probably, and I think it's only going to be surpassed by the new version that I'm going to see tonight. Not 8 days from now, tonight.
Yep.
So it holds up for me. Corey?
I'm going to say, after rewatching this again, no, it does not hold up.
Why?
I just it just wasn't as creepy to me as obviously it was to you at a younger age. I thought Tim Curry did a great job, but I didn't find any of the actors, any of the characters. I just wasn't really. I don't know. I wasn't drawn to any of them, and I just didn't think it was all that great. I thought some of the like we said, the claymation and whatnot, it just really sticks out as being really bad. And obviously, it was quote unquote great at the time, but now, no, it just doesn't work for me.
All right, Vic.
So I enjoyed this movie immensely. However, going back in and seeing it again, and for the third time as we've got it down, it was not scary anymore. Like, I remember being not scared, but like, I guess kind of jump scary and creeped out by it. And in this one, it's just kind of funny. Like, it's really not creepy anymore, and that changes the entire feel of the movie for me. So for me, it doesn't actually stand up.
Uh-oh, Brad. Brad's upset now.
I have never been more disappointed in this show.
So for the first time, Brad, this movie is a loser.
It's still a champion.
Not in our books.
It's because we talked about that goddamn spider. I should have left it out again.
Still a champion.
All right, so...
Doesn't make it to the Hall of Fame, but it's still a champion.
He's moping now.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm done with the show. Good luck replacing me. Wait till they get a load of me. Ah, damn it, wrong clown. All right. You know, we might have to bring in future guests and see if we can tilt this back into the Hall of Fame favor. So
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this movie.
no, not do the movie again. But when we have guests on, we'll just ask.
Oh.
Oh, okay, I got you.
How about this? First time ever. It'll give us something fun to do. It'll give the listener something to like follow along with. A best of 7.
No.
With
what?
like just whenever we have guests, it's always a question we ask.
Okay.
First 1 to 4. You guys already have it.
Hold on.
You're already up
Whoa,
2-1.
whoa. Hold on. What's the question?
Do you think the movie It holds up? We don't give them any other context. We don't give them anything else. You seen the movie Stephen King's It, the old one with Tim Curry? Yes. Do you think it holds up? Just yes or no?
I would imagine most of them are going to be like, oh, I haven't seen that for such a long time.
That's why we say just yes or no.
This could be something we ask at Horrorhound.
Ah, good segue.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. You know what? For here's what it's not a best of 7.
Okay, first of
That
all,
is gonna be
That's a very tilted fucking environment. They're all gonna say that it was the greatest movie ever.
Shh. He wasn't smart. He's been hitting that Halloween episode sauce again, Vic. How about this? Okay, but how about this? I think there's also going to be a lot of people who will be overly critical of it, Vic, because they're so excited for the new one and may have already seen the new one, so that may change the way they feel about the old one.
I will leave it to you.
And
guys
we're
to
asking-
have this poll, but I think it's going to be skewed.
We're asking if it holds up. Not saying if you like it. We'll make sure we make that clear. We're not asking if you like the movie. We're asking if you think it holds up. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay, so right now you guys are up 2-1. I'll give you your 2 votes. And we will see how what the results are at the end of Horrorhound, and that will be the decision. So as of now, it's not in the Hall of Fame, but stay tuned.
Oh, God.
And Corey, speaking of Horrorhound,
He is gonna
I
fight
really,
his way into getting this thing in one way or the other.
Yeah.
He's gonna find a way.
yeah. So Horrorhound is this weekend. We will be there. So if you happen to be going,
definitely this weekend and not in 10 days.
Yeah. Be sure to keep an eye out for us because we will be there. Brad and I will be. We'll be wandering on the halls.
You won't see Vic, but this time it's not going to be because of bad lighting. It's going to be because he's actually not there.
Yeah.
I'm in the shadows. I'm always in the shadows.
Wait, last
In
year we
the
did a
shadows.
live episode, right?
Yeah.
Like we recorded an episode.
Not from there.
Dude, I swear to God, we had a table set up outside. Or what was that? That's the toy thing. Never mind.
Yeah. So, getting back to Horrorhound.
No live episode.
Yeah. There's going to be a couple different.
They thought the event was scary enough as it is.
There's going to be a couple reunions going on. Goonies. I know it's a movie.
Tim Curry and
No.
Tim Reed and
No. A movie that you do not like.
I hate Goonies.
Yeah. Sean Astin and Corey Feldman will both be there, along with the kid that played Data. Now, keeping in mind with Corey Feldman, we also have a Lost Boys reunion as well. You remember? When was the last time you saw Lost Boys, Brad?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Lost Boys?
Mm-mm.
Vic?
Really? Wow. Probably about a year ago.
You know, you remember the saxophone playing muscle dude at the
Yeah.
beginning? Yeah, he's going to be there.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I was a saxophone playing muscle dude in Lost Boys.
yeah.
Holy shit, Corey! But Corey sincerely seems super excited for that.
No,
Yeah.
because if you watch the movie and you see this guy, because he's kind of like a quote unquote iconic character from the movie, although he has no lines in it at all, and it's just like a montage of different shots around the town, and he's just out there, this big muscle bound dude that's playing a saxophone. Everybody knows who that character is. He's going to be there along with the kid.
The Frog Brother.
Well, both Frog Brothers that are still alive, not Corey Haim, but Corey Feldman, along with trying to find out his real name here. Hold on, give me just 1 second. He's
Corey Haim,
no, he's dead. Jameson Newlander.
Judy Garland.
He's also going to be there. The little boy,
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland.
There's no
No.
context to even have her name come up.
No, I swear to God, Vic, this is what my brain did. Because I'm pretty tired right now. And it literally went from, okay, who's a dead person I can say? And for some reason, Judy Garland was the first dead person I knew for sure was dead.
Yeah, but you got one of the guys from Kiefer Sutherland's little gang. He's going to be there, one of the vampires, and the little boy that was also a vampire as well, too. And G. Tom Mack, who did the music for Lost Boys, is also going to be there. One thing that we're really hoping is one person is really hopefully going to be there. Fingers crossed, Ric Flair.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I know he hasn't technically.
Dude, he just got out of surgery.
I know,
and it's just now. Although it is the Nature Boy.
Yeah, he hasn't technically canceled yet, so he's.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What horror-related thing was Ric Flair in?
Exactly.
Several Halloween Havoc matches, Vic.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. So we're
was he in Ready to Rumble? Maybe we got that.
It's not a horror movie.
Yeah,
it's a horrible movie.
It's definitely not as good as No Holds Barred.
You got a few cast members from Friday the 13th Part 2 that are going to be there. There's at least 6 of them there. Ron Howard's brother Clint Howard is also going to be there.
Man, that guy he'll take any work.
Yeah.
Any work you offer him.
Any work his brother can come up with.
He's like a Mexican outside of Lowe's.
Oh, God.
Cameo. Yes, pay me today.
Danielle Harris, who was in Halloween 4 along with the Rob Zombie remakes of Halloween, she's going to be there. Fairuza Balk, who was in The Waterboy. You remember that movie, Brad?
Who was he in Waterboy?
You can do it.
Fairuza Balk. She played the Waterboy's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And she was in The Craft.
Oh, yeah. I definitely remember her from being in The Craft.
Nicholas
a hot-ass black girl that was in The Craft, man. She's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
She hasn't aged. Remember, she was in Sharknado 2, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Nicholas Brendan, who was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is also going to be there. Mitch Pileggi, who was in Supernatural, X-Files, Shocker, also in Sons of Anarchy, along with another guest, Ryan Hurst, who I can't remember his character from Sons of Anarchy, but a fan favorite nonetheless, and Natasha Henstridge. Yes, is also going to be there. A couple other people too. Nestor Carbonell.
Don't let Corey walk up and talk and say anything to her. He'd be like Natasha
I won't say it.
Menstruation.
Right?
Vic, as much as I would love to crack a joke with you on this subject, I'm the last person that's allowed to make fun of anybody for getting the name of a celebrity wrong.
And a couple other people from Buffy as well too, including the guy that played Spike, James Marsters, will also be there as well. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, we'll be there Friday and Saturday. So if you see us,
ask my good buddy Michael Booker.
Yes. So if you see us, come say hi. We won't bite.
Hard.
So I think that's our show for today.
That's the show?
That is the show.
All right. Thank you again for listening to the Showdown podcast. Check us out at Horrorhound this coming weekend. Stop by, say hello. For Corey Miller.
Yep.
For Vic Miller.
Yeah.
I'm Brad Scott saying we all float down here. I'll kill you all, buddies. I'll drive you crazy, and then I'll kill you all. I'm every nightmare you've ever had, buddy. I'm your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of, pal. We all float.